Good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Good afternoon. It's Rochelle with Dreaming English, and I'm live. And today's topic is talking about time management. So if you are, wherever you are in the world, please let me know where you're coming from. Put that in the chat. And we're going to talk about different things that you do for time management. I actually just had a month off from work. And so for time management, getting back to work. So I need to kind of get out of that whole vacation mode and get into the mode of time management. So, managing my time, managing different activities, and really like fitting things in. So I just have to I thought this would be a really good topic for this because of the fact that I got to go back to work. I've got to get back to my agenda, which I'm not sure if you can see. It's got a cute cat on it. Get back to my to-do lists and really get back to managing my time. So I'd love to hear. Okay, hello. Let's see. It's I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to say that right. So Arzar from Pakistan. I think we were talking on WhatsApp, and I'll have to. I know that you probably told me how to pronounce your name, so I apologize for that. Topic today is time management, and I'm a teacher. YouTube is a part-time hobby for me. I'm a teacher, really a guidance counselor in high school, and I'm just returning to school after having a month off for the summer. So I really got to get out of the vacation mode and get back to like managing my time. But I'm still in that vacation mode. It's still summertime. It's still warm. The pool is open and I'm swimming, and it's really, difficult to get back into that mode of time management. But I thought this would be a great opportunity to hear from all of my subscribers around the world of what you do for time management. One thing that I did in college, which was many years ago, right when the internet was just starting, is I used a planner. But what I do now is I use Google. I use Google Calendar for my time management, and that's what I use. I live by that, but it's not enough. I put those little things I need to do into Google tasks or appointments, and I put reminders. But I also sometimes find that it is still helpful to write it down, because I think, and not only think, I know that there's scientific evidence that when you write things down, that it cements more with your memory. So that is another thing. And also, like, I have that visual. I can check my agenda, which I've got to get to the right. This was actually my daughter's agenda, which this was on vacation. And she said on Saturday, she's going to go biking. She is going to we were going to go watch fireworks that day and swim. So, but now that was August 7th. That was the only time she wrote in this agenda, apparently, but we are on August 28th. And this is my daughter's agenda, but there's nothing written on it. So what I believe is a good thing to do, like tomorrow, will be to drop off my son to college. Drop off my son to college, right? And so that's one of the things that I got to do. And then like tomorrow, I return to school. Tomorrow, Monday, 30th, I will return to school full time. Oh, Big Nesh, thank you so much. And so the topic right now, Vignesh is from India. The topic is time management. So I'm talking about different things that I do, but I'd love to hear what you do to manage your time. So I use Google Calendar a lot, but I also will use a paper, like a agenda calendar. And in addition, a dry erase board. I have this like dry erase board that I can put on my refrigerator, and I can use the marker and I can write the different things that I need to do that day. And when I'm finished those things, like this was Friday, I can cross them off. And I think it feels really good when I can cross off things that I did, or I could just erase it. This one was written a while ago because I haven't used this since before I went on my vacation. So I think I'm going to need to probably use some Windex to get that off. But I can actually just erase it off that dry erase board. So that's the kind of things that I do. I also use Post-its. I'm a big fan of Post-its. These are bright green, which I'm not sure if you can see it very well, and bright orange. I think posting things that you need to do and putting it maybe on your computer monitor, maybe putting it on your refrigerator, things that you need to do. Post-its are very, very helpful for me because if I really need to remember something, for instance, if I need to remember to mail a letter, so I have, well, this isn't a letter, but if I have an envelope and a letter that I've got to mail, then I would put a Post-it on it, and I would put, I would write mail that letter. So let's see. So as Yaz, I use Yaz, I think. Do you think people in big cities like Boston have more issues managing time than people in smaller cities? So I actually live a mile. I live at 1 hour from Boston, but I do believe that could be possible. I always say that I'm from Boston because people really don't know Worcester and the cities that I live near. If you're new here, the topic we're talking about time management, please hit the like and let me know where you're from. So I do think it's possible that it might be harder for people. There's so many things to do in a big city like Boston that it could be difficult to manage their time. I live actually in a pretty small place that it's a city still. It's about 1 hour from Boston, and Boston, I believe, probably has 200,000 people that live there, more or less. I'm not exactly sure. The biggest city is Worcester in Massachusetts, which I believe has 250,000 people. And so, yeah, there's a lot of people that live in Boston and a lot of things going on. I live in a town that has about 40,000 people. And so there's not as many things going on. So maybe it could be more difficult to manage your time in a big city. But I'm not 100% sure if that's true. I'd probably have to talk to people that live in Boston. So let's see. Good habits. One of the things I was looking up top 10 things for time management. And one thing that was sleep. If you don't get enough sleep, you're not going to manage your time well. So you really need to get enough sleep. Some people will think that sleeping is a waste of time, but you actually need to sleep to rest your mind so you can manage your time well. So that's like your number one thing to do is make sure that you get, and I think that science says that at least 8 hours of sleep. Now, I know I don't get 8 hours of sleep. I have a Fitbit that actually measures how much I sleep, and I think my average is like 5 to 6 hours, but sleeping enough is very, very important to manage your time, because if you're not got enough sleep, you're going to have a hard time really managing your time and thinking straight. So really getting enough sleep is super, super important to manage your time. So other things would be to figure out the things that are most important. So you can make a to-do list like the one that I have here that I had on my last day of work before I went on vacation. But if you put too many things on your to-do list, it'll become overwhelming. So what you want to kind of do, I think, is put the most important things on your to-do list, the things that really need to get done that day, and things that are possible to get done that day. So if you put 20 things down on your to-do list, you're not going to possibly finish them all, and it's going to be a little overwhelming. I think when I first got this kind of planner for my daughter, she went a little crazy, and she wrote like 20 or 30 things on a one day that she was going to do. And it was overwhelming. And she even put the times that she was going to do them all. So that was too overwhelming for her. And she didn't keep up with doing the planner because she felt like she needed to put everything. All right. So whoever will be following, I'm not sure what your question is, Vignesh, but basically I think putting the most important things that you need to finish, like this planner starts on Monday and it goes to Sunday, because I think I like this kind of planner because for me, the week starts on Monday because that's when I go to work. And so I like to put in maybe 3 to 5 important things that I need to get done that day. I'll put on my planner, and then I can cross them off as I do those things. But if you put too many things, it's overwhelming and it's not possible to get done 20 things in the day. So the most important things that you need to do. So time varying. Okay. So I think what your question, Vignesh, is that, yes, we are all in different time zones. Right now, I believe in India, it's nighttime, and here it's morning. So I think managing your time matters on what time of day it is. For me, I work better in the morning. So I will get up in the morning and plan my day, what I'm going to do. Or maybe the night before, I will go to Monday on my planner and I'll plan out the things that I really need to get done the next day. And then on that morning, I'll look at what do I need to get done that day and get those things done and cross them out one at a time. So the planner is helpful because that's a visual. I can see it. While my Google Calendar, I can only see that if I open it up on my computer or if I look at it on my phone, I can see my Google Calendar. So I think it's really important to have a visual, whether it's a booklet like this or something like this that you can put. This is magnetic, so I can put this onto my refrigerator and I can write down the things that I need to get done on it and cross them out or erase them. Like I said, this I wrote more than a month ago, so it's not erasing, but it generally should erase with an eraser. So I think having a visual where you can see it, Post-it notes are very helpful for me. I'd like to know in the comments what you find to be helpful for you for time management. I know some people that follow me are right now still in university, so that was an adjustment for me. When I went to college, which was many years ago, right when the internet was really just starting, there was no Google Calendar. There were no smartphones. It was an agenda like this that I lived by. I actually had a smaller one that I could carry around in my my backpack, and I would live by this. I would write down the things I needed to get done. When I got my syllabus from my teacher, which is at the beginning of every college class, you get a syllabus from your teacher. And that tells what are going to be the different assignments, when your tests are going to happen. And basically you can write down, you can put those in your calendar and you can cross them out and really plan for them. So you are saying, Isaiah, I think, my technique for getting things done with tasks as early as possible so the work doesn't pile up. That's a good point, because sometimes I think people can tend to put off things that like maybe are overwhelming or big tasks. And then if they put them off to the last minute, it might not be possible. I remember being in college and, we had a syllabus and we had a really huge project. And the teacher said, this is not an 11th hour project. You cannot start it the night before. You need to be working on this project all semester long. And she actually had the students like check in with her and show them the progress they were making throughout the semester. And then there were actual parts of the grade that went on, like you needed to get this much done by this time in the semester and so on. So that way you didn't have that 11th hour person that was not starting that project until the night before. Vignesh says, if you know one thing, actually I studied in school time in college, and I had a schedule that I could not follow at the time. So it can get kind of hectic. Like I have students, like I work in a school, in high school, and I continue to work with my students when they go to college. And I help coach them on things they can do. Like one of my students says they're taking a couple classes, but they're overwhelmed. So my thought was, are you working? Are you managing? Do you have to take care of younger brothers or sisters? Like what's going on if you're only taking 1 or 2 classes and you're feeling overwhelmed? Because a normal college schedule in the United States would be like 4 to 6 classes, right? So that student taking like 2 classes was feeling overwhelmed. And it was the fact that they were taking care of siblings. They were having to work to help with their family. To manage time, what tasks have you, okay, so I am just myself with my kids. So I split up my chores with my children, and my father lives with me. So like today, my daughter will empty the dishwasher because she doesn't like to touch dirty dishes. My son will generally fill the dishwasher. My father will clean up the counter and all the big things that don't fit in it. So all together, and I will also help with stuff, right? So all together, the 4 of us can get that kitchen clean if we work together. So that's how we kind of divide things among the 4 of us. Now my son is going to college tomorrow, so now we'll have to divide things between 3 of us. But that's a really good idea to kind of divide chores between people in your family, things that need to get done. Because if you're taking classes or if you're working, there's still things in your house that need to get done. Like right now, I just been on vacation and camping, and my house, like right behind me, looks neat, but over there, it's a mess of things that my son's packing for college. I got stuff I didn't unpack from camping, and I need to find time to get that done. I'm actually going camping again, so I decided I'm not going to completely unpack, and we have the whole thing about bringing my son to college and all those things that are going on. So I will probably in 2 weeks really tackle that side of the living room and really make that neat. So Vignesh says, all right, in my nation, it's actually night. Yes, I know that. And that's one thing when I go live, I don't have a particular schedule for going live, but I try to go live at this time because I know it's a convenient time for people in India and Pakistan. I have somebody joining from Pakistan, but I also will go live for me in the evening. That is more convenient to people that are in the Western Hemisphere. So Venus says, have you planned? And before you will be, so I think your question is like, do I plan things before the morning? And yes, so basically the night before I will think in my head, I'll look on my Google Calendar. I have it on my phone. I have it on the computer, and I'll look, what are the things I need to get done? And I'll also, at times when I can find my planner, I'll write them down because I believe, and not just believe, I know there's scientific evidence that by writing down things, you can actually cement them into your brain and remember them better. So I think looking at your schedule the night before will help you to remember what you need to get done the next day. And again, writing down only the things that are super important to get done. So this calendar starts on Monday. So if I'm Monday, I go to work, I have certain meetings, I'm going to write down my meetings. I'm going to write down the things that I absolutely need to get done. And if I have any after school things, I'd write those down. But I'd really write 3 to 5 things that are super important that I need to get done. But I'd also write the time, like if I have an appointment, like maybe my daughter has a piano lesson, and she does actually have piano lessons, and her piano lessons are Tuesday at 6:30. So I'm going to write that down, and I'll probably write down the things that are tasks that I need to get done over on this side. If you can see, I'd write down my tasks, like maybe I need to get a report done. I need to, whatever I need to get done, but things that like the 6:30 piano lesson, I'd write down 6:30 piano, because that's going to happen at 6:30. So I'm going to put the time over here, and that's how I kind of figure things out. Fast Fluency School, if you write it down on your smartphone, yeah, you can use notes on your smartphone. I like to use Google Calendar or whatever calendar that's going to notify you, especially if it's that piano lesson my daughter has. I want to be reminded like a half hour before. If it's just tasks, there's certain, like Google Calendar has tasks, like things you need to get done that day. And you can just look on Google Calendar to see the tasks that you need to get done. So I think it is effective, but there is scientific studies that say if you write it down, it will actually cement, because it's the motion of your hand is cementing it into your brain. So I think it's different than typing it on a keyboard or typing it on the small little keyboard that you're going to have here. It's different than the actual motor, the actual movements that you're doing with your hand that cements it into your brain. And I'll later on put in a study into the comments of that, but there is actually scientific study that if you longhand write out things, like that's why my son's going to college. And I told him you might want to actually write things down in a notebook instead of typing everything, right? He's going to have his laptop and he's going to be typing in class, but by actually writing out the important things the teacher is saying in a notebook, it's probably going to cement more to his brain. Now, those are the things that I do. So if you're new here, please hit the like and let me know where you're coming from. We're talking about time management and the different things that you do. I'd love to hear what you do for time management. Let me know in the comments. I'm going to take a sip of water. But let me know in the comments what you do. I have said that I use Google Calendar a lot. I do write things down in a planner, but I sometimes can't find the planner, so that's not super effective for me. But I have bigger things like this really big calendar that I'll write things down and I can see the things and I can cross them off or erase them because this is dry erase. I can do that to be able to have this, and I tend not to lose it because it's really big and it's magnetic, so it sticks to my refrigerator. Vignesh says, because one of my friends, I'm not exactly sure what your question is there or your comments. So, but thank you so much. So I really would like to know what you do if you're in college. I believe, Vignesh, you're in college. I think you have mentioned studying for exams. If you're in college, what do you do for time management? What do you do to manage all of the different assignments, the tests that your professors are giving you? If you work, what do you do to manage the different things that you need to do? Like I work in a school, and my job, I have to recruit students in the program that I work in. So we need to recruit, I believe my boss just told me that we need to recruit like over 100 students before December. So we have certain things, like we're going to have a whole recruiting campaign in September, and we're making our plans of different timelines. When do we want to get 25 students, and then 50 students, and then 100 students? We know that our date is December, but we don't want to wait until the end of November to recruit those 100 students. We want to start planning as a team the different timelines, when we're going to reach our goals, and what are we going to do to reach those goals. There's something called SMART goals, which I'll have to look up what they all stands for, but let's see. SMART goals. SMART goals. And so what that stands for, let me look and open up these SMART goals. It's a good acronym. And so it means like Pacific. So if you have, S stands for Pacific. So that means that it's something that's simple and significant. A goal of like, okay, I want to read more books. It's not really Pacific, but if you say instead, I want to read a book each month, and I want to complete, let's see, it's August now, but we're almost in September. So I want to read a book each month before the end of the year. So that's 4 books before the end of the year. That would be Pacific. Measurable, well, those are 4 complete books. So M is for measurable. And motivating, I'd like to read books because it will help me get smarter. It'll help me, like, I enjoy reading. Achievable, well, that's achievable. Like if I decide that I want to read 100 books before the end of the year, that's really not achievable. It's too much. And then relevant. Now, relevant would be like maybe reading some books about education because I work in education. So that would be relevant. And then time bound. Now, I said I wanted to read those books before the end of the year. So that's time bound. So the SMART is S, specific, M, measurable, A, achievable, R, relevant, and T, time bound, T. So SMART goals are a really good thing to use to kind of manage your time, especially if you have certain goals. If you're in college and you have papers to be done, if you're working in the work field and you have certain things that you want to achieve, SMART goals are really good to use to be able to manage things that you want to get done in the long run. It's not the best for time management, though. That's more like, okay, I have those 100 students that we want to recruit before December. So I would have certain SMART goals. I would kind of break it up. But now with time management, when do I want to get the first 25 and the first 50 and so on? So that would be more like the time management for a long-term goal. But then we have the time management of what we want to get done just in today. So we're on Saturday right now. So what do I want to get done today? Like I'm going live with you at 9 a.m. I live on the East Coast of the United States. So that would be 9 a.m. Later on, I'm going to take a walk with my friends. I have to go to the store to go get some things. I have some people coming over, so I need to go buy some groceries and so on. So I'd write down the things that are absolutely important to get done today. And I'd write them down and I'd be able to cross them off once I get each thing done. So if you're new here, please hit the like. We're talking about time management. And I thought this was a really good topic because I was sharing with everyone that I just had a month off. I work in a school and I always have the month of August off, and I'm just going to be returning to school. So I have to get out of the whole vacation mode where I don't really have anything particular that I need to do each day, and back into the mode of managing my time. And I really have noticed that when I'm not working, it's hard for me to manage my time because of the fact that I just have too much time when I'm not working. When I'm working and I have less time, I actually manage my time better. For instance, this YouTube thing, this is a part-time project, but usually when I'm working, I usually am editing maybe 2 or 3 videos a week. I'm posting more. I'm able to get more of that done because I have such a limited time that I really say, okay, on Tuesday night from 5 to 7, I'm going to work on editing this particular video. And I do that. But when I'm on vacation, it's like, oh, I can do that tomorrow. I can do that the next day. When I'm working, I'm spending 35 hours a week working, and I have less time to work on the hobby of YouTube or other things like exercise and other things that I want to do. So I really noticed that being off and not working actually is not good for me for managing my time. I wonder if anyone has a similar experience that, if they are ever like out of work, for whatever reason. I've been out of work because I got laid off before, which means like basically I work for a company and they said, we don't have enough work, so you're laid off and you need to find a new job. It's not being fired, it's being laid off because they don't have enough work. And when I was laid off, it was hard to manage my time. But when I go back to working, I find it much easier to manage my time. So that's why I thought it would be great to learn from people all over the world. What do you do for managing your time? I've shared that I've used things, anything from Post-it notes and writing down things that I absolutely need to get done, things that I need to remember, writing down the Post-it notes and having bright colors like this bright orange or bright green, so that way I really will see it. Having a big planner where I'm going to write down things and I'm going to be able to cross them out, or using Google Calendar as well. So Vignesh talks about the college days, used to get up at 7 a.m., but actually still for the pandemic time. But now I need to use, so are you going to have to get up earlier? Like during the pandemic, did you not have to get up as early? I know for me, that's another adjustment. During the pandemic, I worked from home, so there was no driving commute. And there was I could get up and I could wear my at-home clothes and I could get up later and I could start work on the computer. But now I have to drive to work and I have to actually get to the school for 7 a.m. And that is a struggle because for a year and a half, I hadn't been doing that. So I hear you. If you're in college or if you're working and during the pandemic, you were working from home or you just were not able to go out of your house, you adjust to, and I think we are all going to be doing that as a world. We're all adjusting to now, once the pandemic is allowing you to leave your home again and go to wherever school or work, to adjust to actually get out of the house on time. And as my boss told me, wear your outside clothes, not your at-home clothes. That's an adjustment. So actually, for the last 4 days, I've had practical examinations, and that's why I had to get up between 8 and 7 a.m. Okay, so you had your exams. So for us, I've been working at home for a year and a half. We did go part-time back to school, but we didn't go fully. But we are just returning full-time, 5 days a week to the classrooms. And that's going to be an adjustment because I'm going to have to get up earlier. I'm going to have to get ready. My daughter, I still have to get her up because she's in school and I need to get to school on time. So which method worked best for managing time? So I use alarms, obviously, to wake up. You want to make sure that you have an alarm that works for you. My son has alarms going off on his cell phone that he sleeps through. That doesn't work out too well. So if your cell phone alarm isn't working, you need to find something else. Maybe going to sleep earlier is a better idea to make sure you get that sleep. I said the number one thing you need to do is to sleep enough. So if you don't sleep enough, you're not going to manage your time well. After that, waking up, I think waking up if you can, after the sun has gotten up, but that's not possible for me. I'm going to be waking up when it's still dark. And so one thing I did was I went on Amazon and there was something called a sunrise alarm clock that actually lights up the room and makes it look like the sun is out, and that helps me wake up earlier, because where I live, it gets darker and darker and darker as we get to the winter months. And that makes it harder and harder and harder to wake up. I need to wake up by 5 a.m. So another thing is to write out the things that you need to do the night before, the things you might need to do the next day, and look at that the night before so it cements into your brain, and to look at it the next morning. I usually will wake up and I take some time. I drink coffee and kind of slowly wake up, but I'll review either on my Google Calendar or my planner. As I said, I have this planner and I'll review the different things that I need to get done for that day. If you're new, please hit the like and let me know where you're coming from. We're talking about time management. I'm just getting back from a vacation and I'm going back to work full time, and I need to manage my time. I actually found it's better for me when I'm working full time to manage my time than when I am not working. So I use many different things, but I want to learn from people all around the world. What do you do to manage your time? I work with students and I help them to try to figure out ways for them to manage their time. I was a student. I was in college back when the internet was first coming out to the world. So that dates myself, right? So I couldn't use Google Calendar. I had to use the agenda. Hello, Rocky. Thank you, Rocky from India. Alarm is the best. So you have an alarm that works good for you. Like I said, I was sharing that I have something called the sunshine alarm, which during the pandemic, I didn't need to use it because I didn't need to wake up as early, but I'm going to have to start getting up early. So I'm going to set up that sunshine alarm, which basically it makes the room brighter to look like the sun has come up. And that helps me wake up because it's really hard for me to wake up in the dark. And I need to wake up at 5 a.m. Here, it gets darker and darker every day as we get to the darkest day of the year, which is sometime in December, where we have the least amount of sunshine. And so that sunshine alarm kind of making it look like there's a sun really helps brighten up the room and helps me to wake up, to kind of wake up and rise and shine. So that works for me. I do have alarms on my phone as well, because just in case that didn't work, I want to make sure that I have something that I can hear that will wake me up. And I'll tell you, it doesn't work for everybody. I told my son has alarms going off every day on his phone and he sleeps through them. So I told him he's going off to college and I am not going with him. So he needs to find something other than his cell phone to wake up when he gets there. Maybe it's some sort of thing that vibrates. They have alarms that vibrate that can help you. You can put it under your pillow and it'll start vibrating and maybe that will wake them up. So, but if you can wake up with just one alarm, that's awesome. But the most important thing is to make sure that you get enough sleep, which I believe the science says that you should really get probably 7 to 9 hours of sleep in order to really be able to manage your time. Because if you are tired, you're not going to be able to manage your time. Some people will think that sleep is a waste of time and that they'll stay up late, they'll get up early, and they won't sleep enough. But you really need that to reset your brain in order to be able to function well and to be able to better manage your time. So other things, like I looked up the top 10 things, sleep was number one. Commit to a plan. So if you come up with a plan of things you need to get done, you want to commit to that and be sure that you get those things done. Make sure that you don't put too many things on your list of things to do. Create deadlines. I was talking about college students. You have at the beginning of the year, you get a syllabus and the teacher tells you or the professor tells you when your tests are going to be, when your assignments are going to be, to come up with some deadlines. Put them inside of your Google Calendar, set up reminders, and make sure that you commit to getting those things done because going to college, I have students in high school, they're going to college. It's not the same. College is different. You have things that you cannot do the night before that you need to be working on throughout the semester. So it's super important to actually break up that assignment and really kind of look at all the different things you got to get done and work on it throughout the semester. And that's where using a planner and using Google Calendar will really help you. Let's see, Vignesh says, at this moment, the topic is time management is really important. Yes, that's what I was thinking. It's like we're kind of all eventually going to get out of this pandemic, and we're going to have to get back into getting out of the house at an earlier time because we need to commute somewhere. We're going to have to, you know, you're not going to be able to just go sit on your computer or whatever you've been doing. You're going to have to go out and go someplace else. So managing time, just the amount of time that I take to drive to my work is 45 minutes one way and 45 minutes another way. That's using up 45 minutes or an hour and a half of my day. So it will be to have time. Yeah. So basically, you know, kind of like better managing your time, as hopefully we will, I don't know when the pandemic will end, but we'll be in some sort of new normal where we are having to leave our house and we're having to go to school and we're having to go to work and we're having to wake up earlier. So being able to get into a habit again, which I know times when I didn't work for whatever reason, when I had my children or when I got laid off and didn't have a job, adjusting and going back to work or going back to school full-time, whatever it was an adjustment. And this is an adjustment to, after a year and a half of working from here, this is basically where I worked during the pandemic, either here or over there where I could look and watch the birds and the squirrels. This was my office. My living room was my office. I would wake up and I would come into the living room and I would work in the living room. So I didn't have that 45 minutes in the morning and that 45 minutes in the afternoon to be commuting. When my daughter took piano, it was on the computer. She would play the piano. We'd set up a camera up top so the teacher could see the board. We didn't have to drive and set up time. Like, how much time will it take us to drive there? It's always thinking about those things. And we didn't have to do that. But when you have to plan for how long will it take you to get there? Will there be traffic? Google is really helpful here in the United States. I don't know if it's helpful every place else, but it's very helpful to check and see, am I going to run into traffic when I am driving? Now, I live in central Massachusetts, and anybody that's working in Boston, they've got to plan for, and they've got to get up super early because they're going to hit traffic. There are tons of people that drive into Boston every day, so they've got to plan for that traffic in order to be to work on time. I've got a plan. I said I have a 45-minute commute, but I never run into traffic, but there could be traffic. There could be an accident. So I've got a plan. If I know it's going to take me 45 minutes, I got to make sure that I really give myself an hour in order to get there on time. All right. I've been using my mobile. Okay. So I guess like there's problems with the amount of data. So thank you for watching my channel, especially if you have limited data. I really super appreciate your taking your time and your data to watch my channel. That's super appreciated. I love it if people can share it. I love it. I really appreciate if you have limited data and you're watching my channel and you find it helpful. I super, super appreciate that. Thank you so much. This has been a project that I started with my daughter 2 years ago, and was just because she wanted to do a YouTube channel. And it's become a real love to me. I really love helping people around the world to learn English. So I super appreciate it. If you are limited on your data and you're using your data to watch my channel, again, thank you. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your time in any case, because everyone has a limited amount of time. And if you're taking time out of your day to watch my channel, I super, super appreciate that, because I know myself, like during the summer, I'm not watching as much YouTube. I'm outside, I'm swimming, I'm walking, and I'm not watching as much YouTube. So for people to take their time to watch my channel, again, thank you. Thank you so much for that. It does actually encourage me to have comments, to have likes, to have new subscribers. If you know of people that are trying to learn English, if you can share the channel, because I want to help more people. And that is what gives me the encouragement, the positive comments, the likes, the subscribers. That's my payment right now. I'm not making any money from this. It's just really a love of helping people. So my payment is the lovely comments, the likes, and more subscribers. So thank you again for taking your time. If you, in Vignesh's case, have limited data and you're using your limited data to watch my channel, thank you, thank you, thank you. Getting back to the topic of time management, So, having routines. I want to exercise more, to swim in the summer or to walk, to be healthier. So really trying to put in the time, like plan, like every morning I sit and I drink coffee, but maybe instead I make a habit of walking first, maybe walking and drinking my coffee, but making sure that I have that habit to put that in my schedule because it's important for my health. It's important for my time management. When I'm walking or when I'm swimming, I come up with the ideas that I could do for YouTube. Like I came up with the idea of time management while I was swimming, and I make that time. I put it in my schedule and make that time because I think that is super important part of time management is have time for you. To have time for you, it gives you time to think, and thinking is important for time management. It's important because you'll remember things that you need to do, but you'll remember things you want to do. Thank you. Yes, it is. Thank you so much. I am putting in an effort with the YouTube channel. I super enjoy it. It was something that was an idea of my daughter's, and it's become much, much more than that. But I think, coming up with routines like walking, both my friend and I, we need to walk more or we need to exercise. So putting that into my routine, putting in things onto the schedule, part of the things that I want to do, like those goals, like, okay, I want to walk or I want to swim. It might not be a specific time, but those are the things I want to do. I'm going to put that on my section of the things I want to do. And these are the things that need to be done. So let's take a moment and thank you. Thank you. Yes, my daughter, thank my daughter. She is 11. She came up with the idea of being a YouTuber when she was 9. And I told her yes, as long as it was educational. And we got this idea because we were studying Spanish and there was a similar YouTube channel that teaches Spanish. So she is very artistic and she likes to draw. And that particular YouTuber used drawings to help teach Spanish. So she said, why can we do something similar? And that's where the idea came from. And some of the videos that take me the longest to edit are done with one camera looking down and one camera looking at us. And my daughter or myself are drawing pictures while we're telling you a story. And those take me a super long time to edit because of the complication of having two videos, one camera down, looking down, and one camera looking at us. So those are the ones that I have put off, and I got to get back to editing. I have like a whole big pile on my computer of things to edit. So thank you so much. We'll have time. All right. So yeah, thank you, Vignesh. So I hope that people are learning from each other, are learning from me, are learning from each other, different things you can do for time management. One of the things that is on the list that I pulled up is like, do the hardest things first. Like, what I'll do in the morning is I'll tackle all of the hardest things of the day because that's when my mind is more awake. So the long emails, if I have some issues with students that are more complicated, I will do that first. And I'll do the easier things that don't take as much of my brain later in the day. So the hardest things first. And one of the other things on this list is to clear your mind. I think that walking or doing something that's for you, because that helps you to clear your mind. Also, things like meditation would be helpful. That's like really just, kind of sitting quietly. Maybe you listen to a guided meditation and clear your mind, because having moments when you can try to clear your mind, and believe me, I find that incredibly difficult. When you do meditation, if you can't clear your mind, that is okay. But just the time to kind of slow down your brain, because your brain needs that just as much as your brain needs to sleep. Your brain needs that time when you're not thinking about a whole bunch of things, when you're not thinking, right? So, all right. So when I did have my 2 children, it was more difficult to manage time for sure. Pregnancy certainly slowed things down, and we have what's called maternity leave. When I didn't work, I would work during the pregnancy, and then I would stay home for 3 months. Usually they would give us 6 weeks to 3 months in the US. If you're lucky, you get that much. And I stayed home with my children during that time. And it was difficult to manage because I always worked. I worked since I was like 14 years old. So being home and not working when I had my little babies, right? That was really difficult for me because I do not sit. Like right now I'm sitting for an hour talking to all of you, but I do not sit well. I always have to be on the go. So I think having nothing to do and just kind of being home with my little babies was difficult for me. I actually would bring them out. I'd bring them for walks. I'd bring them to the library. I brought them all kinds of places where I bring them to story time at the library. They were little babies that really couldn't even see, because when a baby's born, you can't see. I think the sight is slowly kind of evolving. And I would bring them out to story time because I needed to get out. I couldn't sit still. But who knows, maybe it helped them in some way, because my son did graduate top of his class and he's going to a very good university. So maybe those story times helped. So yeah, that was difficult. Having times when I was out of work because I was laid off, that was difficult to manage time and really stay focused and really come up with a routine every day, because I was faced with, okay, I don't have to get up and go to work. I don't have to get up and put on my daytime clothes. And it can be really hard to be able to get another job if you don't have a job, because you get into this mode of not having to do things. I found it very important to continue to have a schedule and to continue to write down things and to continue to go out and go to meetings and stuff. So I would keep on getting up and putting on my like more professional clothing and going out and going to meetings. That's what really got me through. And that's what helped me, because I never got into that mode of just relaxing. Even when I go on vacation, it's always like, okay, we're going to go on a whale watch and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. Appreciate yourself. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I was so proud of my son. I do have a video about that. He didn't want to tell me about the fact that he graduated top of his class, and I didn't find out until a week before his graduation, but I'm super proud of him. He doesn't really like it. If he could hear me right now, he wouldn't like me talking about it. But I said to him, you know what? I'm a mother of 2 children, not one. I'm not going to pretend that I only have 1 child. And plus, nobody really knows your name, so it's okay. So yes, I'm very, very proud of both of my children. And I guess I'm especially proud of my oldest right now because he's going off to college. So that will be an adjustment. I think it'll be adjustment because I was very active with both my children, driving them around everywhere. Especially my son, he was in band and robotics and scouts, and not having to do that and only having 1 child to drive around is going to give me a lot of free time. And so I think having more free time, for me anyway, makes it harder for me to manage my time. And I think one of the things it says on this list is to integrate your work into your leisure. So if you're able to kind of combine those things, it might help you. For me, I was very, very blessed this year that my boss knew about my YouTube channel and said, you're doing great with this. I think this is awesome what you're doing. Would you like to teach students how to be YouTubers? And I was like, I'd love to. I'm not sure how I'll do it, but yes. But I said I needed a team, and I had an awesome team. I think we were 6 people on our team, and we developed a whole little kind of lesson plan, and we had 6 sessions, and we taught students how to be YouTubers over the summer. So that was awesome to be able to kind of meld my hobby of YouTube with my daytime job. And I think really helped me with time management, because I had to plan meetings with all of my coworkers. We were teaching it on Zoom, so we had to plan when we could meet. We had to have deadlines of recruiting our students and stuff. So I think kind of melding it, if you have some sort of hobby that you can meld with your daytime thing, that is an awesome opportunity if that's a possibility for you. But anyway, if you're new here, please hit the like and let me know where you're from. We're talking about time management. I'll be talking for about 12 more minutes. I'm going to take a sip of water, but we're talking about what you do, what I do, what people all over the world do to manage their time. Now, I work in a school, but I'm not a teacher. I'm like a guidance counselor. And I really appreciate the teachers that teach for, 6 or 7 hours a day and talk all day, because talking for 49 minutes nonstop is quite a challenge, I'll tell you. So let's see. Ma'am, you've been okay, so yeah, I have spent some time traveling this summer. I actually, during that YouTube camp that I ran, I traveled in between. We had YouTube camp for 1 week, and then I traveled to visit my friend in Michigan, and then came back and finished up the YouTube camp. And then I traveled and I camped at the beach for 2 weeks. And there I didn't have anything I really needed to do. It was just get up, eat something, go to the beach, come back to the camper. What did you eat from? So yeah, we cooked. We have like a little camp stove. I actually have a camper that has a stove inside, but I tried not to use that because of the fact that it would really kind of make the camper too hot. We were camping at the beach and it's summertime. But that's a whole nother topic. I can probably talk about camping and that kind of thing for another day. Today is talking about time management. And at the beach, there really was no need to manage time because the one thing we managed is we wanted to go swimming at high tide. So we would look at the tide chart, but there was no real time chart need to manage time during that vacation. Except like going on the whale watch, we had to be there at a certain time to catch the boat. Omelets are a great thing. I think another thing for time management could be food, because I think if you eat well in the morning, it can help you because you're not going to if you're hungry and you're thinking about food, it's going to be hard to think about the things that you need to do. So eggs, like you talked about, omelets is a good idea. I usually try to eat things that are high in protein because that will keep my mind, that'll keep my stomach filled and my mind be able to focus on things I need to do. So that's a really good point. I didn't really think about that, but I think if you're hungry, they always say that they actually have a program to give people that need food, like breakfast in the morning, because the students will think better if they're not hungry. Because if they're hungry, they're thinking about being hungry. They're not thinking about learning. And I think that goes the same with managing your time. If you're thinking about being hungry, you're not going to think about things you need to do. You're going to think about food. So being able to eat well is very, very important in order to be able to manage your time, in order to be able to learn well. We could talk a whole topic on eating, things that are better to eat. That could be a whole nother topic. But I think things like eggs that have protein, cheese, things like that will keep you filled more and will be able to help you think and be able to plan for your day. Other things I have down, top 10, set priorities, learn how to say no. Sometimes a lot of people will ask, I will get asked to do different things from different organizations that my son's a part of. And sometimes saying no, because I know if I'm asked to do too many things, I'm going to have a hard time getting the things that I need to get done. For example, I was asked to help run Girls Who Code at my children's club. Now, I said I can help run it, but I cannot be the lead person for it because I have too many other things that I need to do. So I can help recruit the students. I can help occasionally teach a class, but I am not going to run it every Saturday because I know that'll take away from other things that I need to do. So being okay with saying no to some things. One of the lists that I see is multitasking, but I really believe multitasking is not possible. If you're trying to do too many things at once, your mind will not be 100% on the thing that you need to do, and you won't do it well. So the whole idea of multitasking, I don't really think is a great idea. I think really focusing on what you're doing and doing that well, and then doing the other thing. So trying to do two things at once, our minds, and there's scientific evidence and scientific studies that show multitasking really doesn't work. So one of these things saying multitasking, I don't believe that is a good idea. Planning for tomorrow, thinking about the things and writing down the things you need to do, definitely important. And then going over them before you go to bed would be helpful because it'll really cement it into your brain, and looking at that list the next morning. And having time to relax. For me, swimming is a time to relax. Walking is a time to relax. Sometimes just sitting and watching my favorite YouTubers is a way to relax. You need to have that time to relax. But I would really love to hear from you. I have 6 minutes left. I'd love to hear things that you do for managing your time. If you would please share with me, that would be awesome. My hope was to learn from people all around the world. As I said, I'm returning from being out of work for a month because I do work in a school, returning and needing to really start managing my time again. Although I am going camping again next weekend. We do have a long weekend here in the United States, and I'll be going camping again. So every student situation, let's see, but every student, I think what you're saying, let me see. Yeah, I think what you're saying is that it's been difficult for students, and this different people, different students' situations have been different because of the pandemic. So managing time certainly has been harder, and being, in your home. I think my students struggled with that because they're in their home trying to do their homework or trying to attend a class with all kinds of other people. And we had the teachers that wanted the students to have their cameras on and their mics on, but it wasn't possible because there's too much stuff going on. You're in your home and you don't always have that place to have that quiet time. Definitely has been a struggle, and that has been the case here in the United States. That has been the case for my students as well. And I think, doing classes on the computer, doing work that you would normally do on pen and paper, and doing everything on a computer is definitely a struggle and has not been the best situation. My daughter had to do long division on Google Slides, and let me tell you, it was gross. I told the teacher I wouldn't want to do that. I don't really think they wanted her to do like 28 examples. And I said, you know what, if she can do 2 or 3 examples and get it correct, that's enough, because that's not the ideal way to do long division. Doing long division and having to make text boxes, it was gross. So I do feel for anybody that had to go to school and do it completely online. That I'm sure was incredibly difficult. All right. Okay, so again, say thanks together. Okay, so yeah, so thank you for taking time to spend with me and discuss different ways for time management. Thank you, Vignesh, for that. I super appreciate everybody taking time out of their day, as I took time out of my day. Tomorrow, I will bring my son to college, and I still have a lot of things to do before that. But I do enjoy this. It's actually been going live. I was nervous 2 months ago when I went live the first time, but it's been fun. It's easier in some ways because I don't have to edit this, but it's also nerve-wracking because I'm going live. There's no edit button. You're going to hear how a native speaker speaks. You're going to know that we make mistakes when we go live. You could listen to people that are professional speakers all over the world, but if they go live without a script, you're going to hear mistakes, because as we're thinking, our minds are going super quick and we're going to make mistakes. So I definitely enjoyed it. I went live when I was camping 3 times because I enjoy it. For me, it's a hobby. So I do enjoy going live, and I definitely will do that again. Right now, I don't have a particular schedule for going live, but I'm probably going to do it every other week. And I'm going to try different times for people on the other side of the world, like in India and Pakistan and all over there, but also maybe some night times where that's going to be more convenient for people in South America and in the Western Hemisphere. So thank you so much. I'm going to probably end. If anybody has any last questions, you can throw them into the chat, but it's been great. And thank you so much. I've learned a lot from all of you. All right. Well, thank you and have a great day.